Hello, my name is John Thomas Neuberth, and this summer I interned for WSFS Bank in Delaware. WSFS stands for Wilmington Savings Fund Society. The financial corporation's primary subsidiaries are Christiana Trust, which offers wealth management and personal trust services. Another subsidiary is WSFS Investment Group, which offers third-party insurance products. And I was employed for the Federal Savings Bank portion of WSFS. WSFS has been serving the communities of Delaware since 1832, and I choose the word service because that's what really sets the corporation apart from the much larger banks in the area. Its service factor is, our primary concern. We want to make sure our customers are happy, and our actual tagline is "We stand for service," which goes along with WSFS. WSFS is the 7th largest continuously operating bank in the United States under the same name since its founding. It also was the first to issue debit cards to its customers, and within the state of Delaware, WSFS has been classified as the largest financial institution based upon its total deposits. As stated on their homepage, WSFS core values are a culture of to create a culture of integrity, service, accountability, transparency, and honesty, and we'd like to see a desire from our employees to improve and grow, both as individuals and as a bank and community. My learning objectives for the experience were to see firsthand the customer service factor that everyone raves about with WSFS. I wanted to see, is it really just a show? How important is it to the customers? And you could see throughout the day when you receive various emails, we get a lot of letters from our customers thanking us, and it apparently it makes a big deal. People are very happy, and they believe WSFS is doing great things for our community. I also wanted to gain firsthand knowledge of front of the house operations of banking institutions, but my primary focuses were on developing greater people skills and improve my cash handling skills in front of a customer. And that was the primary need of my position, to work face-to-face with individuals. Orientation for the position took place in Wilmington, Delaware at the corporate headquarters. Associates arrived in full suit and tie early in the morning to finalize documents and go over a lot of the policies of WSFS. In terms of paperwork, associates completed direct deposit forms if they wished to do so. We filled out tax information and signed our official employment agreements. When we received our initial offers, we were given 24 hours to go to LabCorp and complete a drug test. At the orientation, we did fingerprinting to complete that process. Human capital associates covered all the policies with us, things like attire, what you wear on a daily basis, and the exceptions to the rules. And they also went over the customer do's and don'ts, things you can and cannot say to a customer, or if different situations arrive, how you handle them. There were approximately 90 interns for the summer, all with staggering start dates. So in my particular orientation, there were about 45, so about half of the summer associates. I believe this is due to the amount of space they had at all the learning centers. So following our orientation, we headed to our respective learning centers. Mine was in Dover, Delaware, so it's a bit of a drive every day. But for 5 days, I went to Dover and learned retail banking. They were 8-hour sessions per day, and it's kind of draining, but that's how long a business day is, so it prepared us for what was going to happen the following week when we went to our actual branches. In the classes, we covered a lot of cash handling, went more in depth on policies and how to handle situations that might arrive. And it was surprising to see how many minutes were spent on detecting fraud and fake IDs and false bills, things like that. We also covered a lot of security procedures. So, how to handle yourself in a robbery. There's a good focus on that. So we felt very safe when we were arriving at our branches. It's a pretty big deal. They take it very seriously. There's a lot of safety procedures that go on, and a teller's drawer is actually rigged with a lot of different instruments to protect the employees. The following Monday, I began my actual work in my branch. I worked at the Rehoboth branch of WSFS in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. During the summer months, this branch is the second busiest in terms of transactions. Since many people visit the beach during the summer months, our local businesses receive a lot of cash, so very large deposits up into the tens of thousands, sometimes close to $1 million. I've seen checks that go up to about $750,000 being deposited pretty often. So it brings a lot of money into the community during the summer months. So we were very busy. While most branches received only one summer associate, my branch has 4. So on a daily basis, I probably handled a couple hundred customers. In total, we had, on average, about 1,000 per day. We had a lot of struggles this summer. The Rehoboth branch lost many employees, not due to quitting per se, but receiving better offers. Since we become so proficient in what we do at our branch due to the high volume of customers, our employees receive great offers, management positions elsewhere, and they choose to take those opportunities to greater develop their careers. So those who stayed had their work cut out for them. On a typical day, I did transactions, basic transactions like deposits and withdrawals, cash advances, transfers, and payments of loans. During the summer, deposits are, there's a lot of deposits, so you got to be able to handle yourself very professionally and count pretty well, do a lot of math in your head, and keep everything organized. A paper trail is very important. But on some days, I would assist customers in different ways. I would help them with their safe deposit boxes, which when I approached the orientation or the internship, I did not expect to be going into safe boxes. Over time, they allowed us more freedoms to do more than just the basic teller transactions. We got to interact with customers much more. On a daily basis, we also had change orders from our local businesses, which consists of getting quarters through pennies prepared for them, bills strapped in certain denominations like $50 bill straps, $100 bill straps, things like that. And sometimes I was a little more challenging than it sounds because we had to find the bills. In our own drawers, we like to keep them as free of cash as possible to lower the risk of robbery. But we also behind the counter have these machines called TCRs, which are like personal ATMs. And sometimes the bills wouldn't be in there, so we would have to work with Garda or people in the back of the house to do a lot of cash transfers to have the money prepared for our customers when they arrived. We'd like to have them call ahead or fax us their orders so we can have it prepared for them and satisfy their needs as quickly as possible so they don't have to come into our branch and wait around while we run around. Once again, it's all about customer service at WSFS. During the rare downtimes that we had at the branch, which happened because of a weather or we're along a major highway, so depending on lights, we would get a few minute breaks. And during those breaks, we could do a lot of maintenance. Personally, I would restock the customer amenities like coffee and candy that we had. We also had dog treats. We're a dog-friendly facility. And on Fridays, we have popcorn. We have a popcorn machine, an old-fashioned popcorn machine. We would restock that and prepare bags for our customers and serve it to them. On occasion, I would have to do some random tasks like changing light bulbs, but that was very rare. While full-time associates receive compensation for referrals and loans, things of that nature, us interns worked off of gift cards. So whoever had the most referrals at the end of the internship received, I believe, a $50 gift card. But I haven't heard any of the results on that yet. Initially, our teller software was TI. TI was a very simple program that ran very smoothly, but required multiple programs to complete a lot of the transactions during the day, unless it was basic deposit or withdrawal. We had to open another program which us interns did not have access to, so we had to rely on our full-time associates and bother them to help us fill out the customer needs. So in turn, our company went to Harlan Services and picked up a program called Encore. Our conversion to this program was called Service 360. It gave us one platform to work off of for all the needs of the customers, so we wouldn't have to switch programs or go back and forth so much with the other associates to complete a transaction. Encore was great because it put everything in one place. However, there were a lot of flaws because we were a bit of a guinea pig for this program, so it's still being developed. A lot of the features did not work, and it was a very, very slow and troublesome conversion. So that added a little bit more tension during the day, which is not a bad thing. It actually made things interesting. You would approach each day not expecting how things would go. Kept you on your toes, kept you sharp. As we converted the branches one by one, we had to go to training. We had to go back to the learning center in Dover and learn a whole new software in one day. So there was a lot of driving required for this internship. We also went to other branches during the summer that needed help when they were low on associates. So we like to not only provide great service to our customers, but we like to interact between the branches. It's a big family, and we help each other out. So in terms of connections, I met some good people this summer. Syed Ahmed, which is the Senior Vice President and Regional Manager of WSFS in the Sussex County region. He's the type of fellow where when you see him come around, you make sure you're dressed sharp and everything is cleaned up and clutter-free. But he surprised me at times. While a very serious guy, he helped out our branch very much. He saw we were working very hard. And Terry Kistler, who was our assistant branch manager, essentially my highest supervisor within the branch, since we did not have a regular manager due to her leaving for a greater opportunity. He was a very nice guy, and he did the work of 3 people, and he's a very respectable man. Terry actually threw a going away party for us interns, and we got to put him in a dunk tank, which, relating back to Syed, the dunk tank was a little expensive, and Syed thought it was a great idea to thank the interns, so he put forth his own personal money to get the dunk tank so we could put Terry in the water. So it wasn't all business all the time. While we worked hard, we did have our good connections outside of the office and had our playtime. Kathy, who was, besides interns, the newest associate, provided me with her information for later application use. So she's a very nice lady. Takeaway from this experience, I learned a lot about banking transactions since I personally hadn't done my own banking in the past. I didn't know what to expect going forward. There's so much more done behind the scenes than I had expected. I thought perhaps all the money was just locked away and all the paperwork was done in the house. There's a lot of front of the house operations and back of the house with retail ops is what we call them, and they verify everything. So each piece of paperwork you do, which there's a lot more than expected. There's probably about 3 pieces of paper that have to be completed for each transaction. It was all verified to make sure that the security of their customers was provided. While it was very intense work days, there was playtime outside of the branch. We did interact with each other. It wasn't just you come into the office and work with your fellow associates and leave and not speak again. We did interact outside. We receive a lot of letters from our customers about our service factor and what sets us apart, and it was nice to see that what we do is appreciated. On a daily basis, we get emails from customers thanking us for things that we had done. So the manner in which you interact with customers really does affect retention. Sometimes things do go wrong, and they get upset, but the way you handle yourself and